प्रेमामृताम्बनिधि श्री चैतन्य कृपाभनो भुवि भुव भारावहन्तारकं वन्दे रूप सनातनं रघुयुगं श्रीजीव गोपालकं श्रीगौरांग गुणानुवर्णन विधौ सध्यासमिद्धार्नितं पापत्रापनिकृन्तनं तनभितां गोविन्द गानामृतैः श्री गौरांग गुणानुवर्णन विधौ सध्यासमिद्धान्वितं पापत्रापनिकृन्तनं तनभितां गोविन्द गानामृतैः
श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे
Hare
हरे
Krishna,
राम
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
हरे
Hare
हरे
Hare,
हरे
Hare
कृष्ण
Rama, Hare
कृष्ण कृष्ण
Hare
हरे
Krishna,
हरे हरे राम
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
हरे
Rama, Hare
हरे
Rama,
कृष्ण
Rama Rama,
कृष्ण
Krishna
कृष्ण
Krishna,
हरे हरे हरे
Krishna
राम
Krishna, Hare Hare,
हरे
Rama
राम
Rama,
हरे
Rama
कृष्ण
Rama,
कृष्ण
Hare
हरे
Krishna
Hare
हरे
Krishna,
Krishna,
राम
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare Hare,
हरे
Hare
कृष्ण
Rama, Hare Rama,
कृष्ण हरे
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
हरे कृष्ण
Krishna Krishna, Hare
कृष्ण
Hare,
हरे
Hare
हरे
Rama,
राम
Rama Rama,
हरे
Rama,
कृष्ण
Hare Hare, Hare
हरे
Krishna,
कृष्ण
Hare
हरे
Krishna,
राम
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Krishna,
Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare
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 Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Krishna
Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Rama
Hare Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Rama
Krishna
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Krishna
Rama, Rama
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Rama Rama, Hare
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 Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
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 Krishna, Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama Rama,
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
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 Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Hare Hare,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Krishna
Rama, Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Krishna Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare
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 Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Hare,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram, Ram,
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram Ram,
Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare
Ram
Ram, Ram
Ram, Hare
Ram, Hare
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Hare Ram,
Ram,
Hare Ram,
Ram
Ram Ram,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna, Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Ram, Hare Ram,
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare. Hare
Hare Ram,
Ram,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram,
Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram, Hare Hare,
Krishna, Krishna, Hare
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 Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Krishna
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
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 Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
Krishna, Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Ram, Ram
Hare Rama, Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Hare,
Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna, Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Rama
Krishna
Rama, Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Hare,
Rama, Hare
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 Ram.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Chant and be happy.
Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, and welcome to our weekly Saturday morning Bhagavad Gita, as it is, reading and discussion with the Hare Krishna Society Prabhupada Disciples Association. And this is part of our discipline, because without discipline, it is very hard to become happy. People are looking for happiness in this material world. They think by discipline, it means strictly business discipline, like they get up every morning, they go to work. And if you don't, part of the success of work is first, you show up. If you don't show up, you don't get paid. And if you don't get paid, you can't survive, because everyone needs some money. So they're driven by the desire to survive. That's why people do things. And money talks, that's what they say. When you get money, then people act. So discipline is key to success in any field, and especially the field of bhakti yoga. Prabhupada was very disciplined, as Yashoda Prabhu knows that, and he lived with Prabhupada personally. And Prabhupada, despite his old age and despite his schedule, he managed to maintain a strict discipline of activity every day. I know when he came to Toronto, Yashodanandana Prabhu, he, despite the fact that he was constantly changing time zones and flying here and there, he had a schedule which allowed him to get up. He hardly slept. Go to Kesha, he was very much renounced from personal behavior or needs. So he very rarely slept, but he was always on schedule to do what he was supposed to do. For example, every day he would be up in the morning with us in Toronto, and he would be there for the morning class. He would stay up late at night and translate, get up very early in the morning and translate his books. So Prabhupada had a high level of discipline, and he set that example for who? All his disciples. Whatever great man does, common men will follow. Whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, the whole world will pursue it. Of course, people that are not interested in spiritual life won't. For example, Prabhupada requested us to chant 16 rounds a day. Now, it takes 2 hours in the day to chant 16 rounds. Now, someone could say, well, I don't have the time. I'm too busy. What are you busy doing? Nothing. Well, you're surviving. Okay, you're working. That's all right. But at the same time, if you want to make advancement in Krishna consciousness, you have to chant. You do. It's a discipline. It's not an option. And with people that don't chant their rounds, their mind cannot be fixed because they have no discipline, not spiritual discipline. And Prabhupada, I was listening to a lecture yesterday, Yashodanandana Prabhu of Prabhupada, speaking about the importance of chanting. He said, the name and form of Krishna are identical. So when you chant, you're associating with Krishna. And those people who chant offenselessly, yes, without offense, there are rules and regulations. This is also a part of the discipline. And we'll read those rules later in the program. The 10 offenses, you have to avoid them. If you claim to be a Vaishnava, you have to learn these offenses and follow them, practice them, get the weeds in the garden of devotion, get them extracted so that you can make advancement in spiritual life. Because, think about it like this, Prabhus. Everything is revealed through the chanting of the holy names. Everything. You think you're a great scholar. Oh, yes, I know so much. Well, how much do you really know with that little brain of yours? Not much. We're insignificant in this world. Insignificant. 1/10,000th the tip of a hairstyle, a hair size. Very small, insignificant. And think about the universe, Yashodhanandana Prabhu. How many planets there are in one universe? There's billions. That's inconceivable for the conditioned soul to understand how great God is. We can say that. And a lot of people, they have a natural philosophical inclination to want to learn the truth, but it can be revealed, Prabhupada said, simply by chanting the holy name. Can you imagine? It's simple for the simple, but difficult for the crooked. But at the same time, we have to discipline ourselves. I don't care who you are. If you don't discipline yourself, you cannot achieve anything. For example, people want to become a doctor. Okay. Was it easy? No, it's very difficult, actually, because you have to discipline yourself. It takes 8 to 10 years to become a qualified surgeon. So Krishna consciousness requires focus, discipline. And by doing that, you'll see internally a result. The more you chant, the more you practice these principles, the more you associate with devotees, the more you hear this philosophy over and over and over again, it keeps us fixed on the path back home, back to Godhead. And there are lots of detours. As you know, Yashodhanandana Prabhu, there are lots of detours that you can take in this material world to avoid surrender and discipline to understand Krishna, which is the greatest gift that humanity can have. And Prabhupada delivered that for us. It's amazing. We'll read later on this morning from his diaries how he struggled to bring the message of Lord Chaitanya to the Western-speaking countries. Just think if he didn't come here. Just think about it. Nothing is more poignantly precious when we contemplate the loss of it. What an important point that was made in the Mahabharata. When you don't get the mercy of the spiritual master, the world becomes a prison house, a mental place of suffering. And there are 7-fold miseries that we experience. That's only 5 there, and there's 2 more. So there are 7-fold miseries that we all suffer from. And someone could say, not me. Well, that's because you don't understand your life. Birth, death, disease, and old age, all the different circumstances that affect every one of us. And people think, not me. Well, just wait. Misery will come. So philosophy and logic our very important philosophical understanding of our relationship with the Supreme Lord is made available from Srila Prabhupada in his divine words. And Pure Angel, I see you came on the screen here. I was listening to this. I do this system for myself, which is I'm listening to the same lecture, 2 lectures, for the last year and a half on my car. I'm afraid my CD player, if I change it, it may not work again, and then I have to drive in silence. And I prefer to hear these lectures. And I find that Prabhupada is so deep, his words are so deep, that the lecture is ever fresh. In other words, people in the material world, they can read the newspaper, and after they read it, there's no more newspaper now, but there's the phone. But it used to be you get the newspaper, you read it, and then you take it and you throw it in the garbage. It was useless. But Prabhupada's words are so revealing to us that you can hear them over and over again, and it never becomes dry and useless. In fact, I was thinking myself, Yashodanandana Prabhu, and I was looking for the lecture this morning in my Bhagavatam books, lectures, because I have it. And I thought, if I could just memorize one lecture, just one lecture, if I could just say one lecture, repeat what Prabhupada said, I'd be the best preacher in the world. Because he was. Prabhupada was not ordinary. His words are not ordinary. They're deep. They're transcendental messages from the spiritual sky. That's a secret for some devotees who understand this idea of transparent via media. Huh? If you understand that, then you will never be involved in any kind of bogus guru system where they think Vapu is more important than Vani, the transcendental sound. This is not about the material body. This is not about profit, adoration, and distinction. This is not about some kind of use of religion for personal purposes. And this is a contamination of the mundaner. I call it the International Society for Mundane Opinions. And that's going on in some groups. It's pathetic. And when you hear them speak, there's no depth. They can say what they want over and over again. You won't learn anything from them. It's useless. Sentimentality, fanaticism, philosophical disconnect. And that's pathetic. So anyway, that's enough of that. I see you're enjoying yourself, Mother Rochisha Devi Dasi in Montreal. Haribo. We're going to go ahead and play this section of our program, the Prabhupada Sotram. Yashodanandana Prabhu was directed by Prabhupada to do this. And by Krishna's grace, we've brought this into our program as one of our sections. So let's roll that now.
Srila Prabhupada Stotram Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta
स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्यदेशधारिणे कृष्णैकचेत मदमोह विनाशकारिन् मद्दृष्टिगोचर प्रभु प्रभुपाद स्वामिन् दोषाभिवृत्ति परिदूषित मन्दबुद्धे तञ्चिन्तयामि चरणौ तव भक्ति हेतु वृन्दावने रमणरेति प्रसिद्ध भूमौ तत्रापि कृष्ण बलराम सुपादमूले ज्ञानं परं परमकृष्ण सुधर्म इत्युक्तम् दन्तस्तुरेव प्रभुपाद नमो नमस्ते 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 कृपापूर्णदृष्टि नमस्ते नमस्ते महानन्ददात्री नमामो नमाम पुनरक्ष रक्ष प्रसिद्ध प्रभु महिमां दक्ष दक्ष भक्ति सिद्धांत शिष्याय भक्ति वेदांत नामिने प्रसन्नाय प्रशान्ताय तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः श्रीवंग भूमिजन भूषण घोर लीला घोरंग भाव परिसारण मात्र शीला राधा मुकुंद पद पद्म मनोविलासिन् आनंद रसि प्रभुपाद नमो नमस्ते आनंद रसि प्रभुपाद नमो नमस्ते श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे.
Very beautiful. Thank you very much, Yashodanandana Prabhu, for that introduction of these prayers to Srila Prabhupada. And I wanted to comment first on the results of our Prabhupada festival last week. We have been showered with compliments from many people around the world for this program that we produced. And I want to thank all of the people that participated in it, especially our media team, who have taken up this service with great enthusiasm. And this is an encouragement to us because when you have teamwork, when you have cooperation, when you have focus, and when you have discipline, because you have to take time for this, when you do this, you'll attract the attention of Krishna. And Prabhupada said that. Try to act in such a way. Do not try to see Krishna, but act in such a way that Krishna will see you. This is about action. You know, they're introverted. Some people are like claustrophobic or cloistered, I should say. They're in their own world of whatever, their own world, their own personal mental state. When you step out of that personal state of action, one man on or one lady on their own, and you become a part of a group of devotees, then you come alive. It's an explosion in your heart. Yes, it is. And we've had that experience. I know when we purchased the Toronto Temple, back in the day, it was teamwork. It wasn't one person. It was everybody. Everybody got up. Everybody got going. Everybody chanted together. Everybody ate together. Everyone went out and served as a group together. And in this way, that association becomes invigorating and very enlivening. And that leads me to the next point before we go to our next section, initiations. Since we did this program, we've had not a, I'm going to say a flurry of interest in initiation. Some of you are stepping up and saying, I want to become more committed to this process of devotional service by becoming initiated by a bona fide spiritual master. And we have a system for that. And if you're interested, we're going to be showing later this week the different rules that we've set up according to the way Prabhupada had operated this back in the early years, in the 70s, of how you could qualify for initiation by your service. And these particular rules, if you follow them and you're interested in initiation, we are interested in adding you to the list of candidates for initiation and personal commitment to the mission. You need initiation. Actually, you need initiation from a bona fide spiritual master in order to become eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. It's a formal part of our philosophy. Now, you may not have an interest in formal, but at the same time, you still wanted to follow the process on your own. That's okay too. Something's better than nothing. But if you take this step with us, this opportunity, you'll feel much more blessed and enlivened by this opportunity, as I said, for making spiritual advancement. So initiation. Please let us know. You can get a hold of Yashodanandana Prabhu directly, or you can contact me. And in this way, we can begin the process to expand the Prabhupada Disciples Association. Disciples. Not just people that were initiated directly by Prabhupada when he was personally present, but people nowadays, and that is very enlivening for us, Yashoda, when we see people step up. They want to. And Yashoda Prabhu, Nanda Prabhu, is very diligent in his service to do this. And we're not doing it to gather disciples or collect money or any other material result that people in some groups do. They're out recruiting. This process is about your personal desire to become more committed to the process of bhakti yoga and your desire to want to leave this material world and go back to home, back to Godhead at the time of death. And that is possible through this initiation process. It facilitates it. And you take shelter of Prabhupada in his Vani incarnation, his sound vibration in all of his wonderful books. And there is unlimited information for us. Unlimited. So you'll be busy all your life studying and, of course, chanting your rounds and then offering your food and having your prasadam up to the last moment. And you're going to also be part of the distribution of the Delhi Bhagavatams, which we are very enlivened to do as part of our service. So all glories to Srila Prabhupada. We're going to move ahead with our next section, which is a short lecture by Srila Prabhupada. So let's roll that now.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam.
For happiness, there are three things to understand. That is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhoktaram Jagdadavsam Sarvaloka Maheswaram Sridam sarvabhutanam gyatyaman shantimicchati. You have to understand only three things. Then you become peaceful. What is that? That thing, first thing is that God is enjoyer. I am not enjoyer. But here our mistake is, everyone is thinking I am enjoyer. But actually we are not enjoyer. For example, because I am part and parcel of God, just like my hand is part and parcel of my body. Suppose the hand catches one nice food cake, nice palatable cake. The hand cannot enjoy it. The hand picks it up and puts it in the mouth. And when it goes into the stomach, when the energy is created by eating that food, that is enjoyed by the hand. Not only by this hand also, the eyes also, legs also. Similarly, we cannot enjoy anything directly. If we put everything for the enjoyment of God, and then when we participate in that enjoyment, that is our healthy life. This is the philosophy. We don't take anything. Bhagavat Prasada. Bhagavat Prasada. Our philosophy is that we prepare nice food stuff and we offer to Krishna, and after he has eaten, then we take it. That is our philosophy. We don't take anything which is not offered to Krishna. So we accept God as the supreme enjoyer. We are not enjoyer. We are all subordinate. So bhoktaram jagatavasam sarvaloko maheswaram, and God is proprietor of everything. That's a fact. Now suppose such big ocean, are you proprietor? We are claiming that I am proprietor of this land or this sea. But actually before my birth, the sea was there, the land was there, and after my death, the sea will be there, the land will be there, when I become proprietor. Just like in this hall. Before we entered this hall, the hall was existing, and when we leave this hall, the hall will exist. Then when we become proprietor, if we falsely claim that sitting here for 1 hour or half an hour we have become proprietor, that is false impression. So one has to understand that we are neither proprietor nor enjoyer. Bhoktaram jagata. God is the enjoyer and God is the proprietor. Sarvaloka mahestam. And Sridam sarvabhutanam. He is the best friend of everyone. He is not friend only of the human society, he is friend of the animal society. Because every living entity is God's son. How we can be otherwise treating man in some way and animal in other way? No. God is actually perfect friend of all living entities. If we simply understand these three things, then we become peaceful. Immediately. Bhoktaram jagatavasam sarvaloko maheswaram sridam sarvabhutanam gyata mam shantimicchati. This is the process of shanti. You cannot establish. If you think that I am the only son of God and the animal has no soul and let us kill, that is not a very good philosophy. Why not? What are the symptoms of possessing soul? The symptom of possessing soul is the same four formula: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. The animal also busy in these four things. We are also busy in these four things. Then where is the difference between animal and me? There. So everything has a clear conception in the philosophy of Vedic literature, especially they are summarized in the Bhagavad Gita as it is. So our only request is that you become God conscious. This is the opportunity. This human form of life is the only opportunity to understand what is God, what I am, what is my relationship with God. The animal, we cannot invite cats and dogs in this meeting. That is not possible. We have invited human beings because they can understand. So the human being has got the prerogative to understand. Durlabham manasam janma. Therefore it is called durlabha. Very rarely we have got this human form of life. If we do not try to understand in this form of life what is God, what I am, what is our relationship, then we are committing suicide, because after this life, as soon as I give up this body, I will have to accept another body. And we do not know what kind of body I am going to accept. That is not in my hand. You cannot order the next life make me a king. That is not possible. If you are actually eligible to become a king, nature will offer you a body in the king's house. You cannot do it. Therefore we have to work to get the next better body. That is also explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Janti deva vrata devan pitrin janti pitvivrataha bhutani janti bhutejya madhyajinopi janti mam. So, if we have to prepare ourselves in this life for the next body, why not prepare yourself for a body back to home, back to Godhead? This is Krishna consciousness. We are teaching every man how he can prepare himself so that after leaving this body, he can go directly to God, back to home, back to God. This is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Takta deham punarjanma naiti mameti konteya. Takta deham, after giving up this, we have to give up. I may not like to give up this body, but I will have to. That is nature's law. As sure as death. Before death, we must prepare ourselves. What is next body? If we are not doing that, then we are killing ourselves, committing suicide. So, this Krishna consciousness movement is to save the humankind for being fatally injured by the wrong conception of bodily concept of life. And the simple method is by chanting the 16 words, or if you are philosopher, if you are scientist, if you want to know everything scientifically, philosophically, we have got big books like this. You can either read books or simply join with us and chant Hare Krishna mantra. Thank you very much.
Committing suicide. Very interesting and very succinct. And we're going to go to our next section, which is reviewing part of the diaries of Srila Prabhupada on his preparation for coming to America to carry out the orders of his spiritual master. And let's go to that. I wanted to show you some pictures. Here, look at this. This is a picture of Prabhupada's bed at Radha Damodar Temple in Vrindavan. Just see it. It's a little cot here and some kind of a pillow. Not much. So Prabhupada lived very simply. Here we have the rooms at Damodar, Radha Damodar, rented by Srila Prabhupada above right. The double doors on the right lead to Srila Prabhupada's kitchen. Above left, Srila Prabhupada's bed in his living room. Bottom left, inside the kitchen, from its windows, Srila Prabhupada could see the samadhi of Srila Rupa Goswami. And look at this sitting place. No, not that one. No, not that one either. That's his bed. There, look at that. A little wooden platform. Hardly comfortable, I'd say. But this was Prabhupada's beginnings. Much different than the so-called gurus of today, who live in extreme opulence with thick bank accounts, lots of cash. And here we have a receipt for the money order he sent to Gaurchandra Goswami as mentioned in the letter on the opposite page. It was pinned to the diary on July 28th. And we'll go to that letter. I hope I can read it. Please accept my dandabats, dear Goshanji. Tomorrow I am going to Calcutta to catch my ship, the Jaladuta, and I'm starting the month. May I have sent you one money order for rupees $25 a day before one yesterday, which I hope you will receive. In the meantime, I may return to India by November next. So he's telling us in this letter he's not sure what's going to happen, so he might come back to India. In the meantime, Sri Amit Singh Bhaja will see you with this letter, and he's going to Vrindavan sometime in the next month. He is a great devotee of Lord Krishna, and it is this gentleman about whom I talked with you in the matter of Sri Radha Madhavji Vigraha of Sri Jayadev Goswami. Prabhupada, complete pure devotee. He will direct a great temple for Sri Sri Radha Madhava and conduct Raj Sheva with great pomp and accompanied by Utsvas according to Vaishnava Smritis. Please talk with his face to face about the negotiation, and on my behalf, I shall strongly recommend to accept his proposal, not only because he is my friend, but also from the angle of improvement of the Seva Puj. I hope both of you will come to some happy agreement just to see improved conditions of Seva Puja. Thanking you in anticipation. Yours sincerely, look at how Prabhupada wrote his name, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. So the title Prabhupada, he did not give it. Srila Prabhupada wrote this letter to Gaurchandra Goswami, head of the Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan, and enclosed a money order for rupees 25. Srila Prabhupada notes that his payment will cover the rent of his rooms for 5 months. From June to October of 1965, he had made 2 rooms at the Radha Damodar temple, his Vrindavan residence, in 1962. Interesting, huh? How Prabhupada was living back then, before ISKCON. And we'll go to the next page. Let's see if we've got something here. Here we have Friday the 30th. Prabhupada said, Mr. J.M. Choksi today handed over me the documents. 1, the passport. 2, the P-form passed. DT 27765, original letter of no objection certificate from Gopal P. Agarwal. Copies of letters for Calcutta office, India Steam Navigation Company, an international certificate and vaccination, 3 years and 6 months. Sunday, the 1st, to start for Calcutta by the Calcutta Mail via Nagpur, starting from Bori Banu at 19 hours in the evening. And there is his ticket, luggage booked, receipt, and paid $12.20. Right, the letter from Gopal Agarwal mentioned in the 30th diary entry. Srila Prabhupada was pleasantly surprised when the Ministry of External Affairs showed him this statutory declaration form and informed him that his no objection certificate had been issued. Srila Prabhupada had met Gopal's father only briefly 3 or 4 months previously, and had not expected anything to come of Mr. Agarwal's offer to have his son Gopal act as a sponsor. See also the Reflections chapter beginning on page 81. And this is the form from the Council General of India. So very detailed information here. Very exciting, isn't it? Prabhupada's beginning to carry out the order of his spiritual master, which is the prime purpose. Here, look at this. This is a picture. Now, Prabhupada's story unfolded to this point in 1976. And you can see Nandi Keshwar's there, Jagadish is there. I'm the chauffeur. I'm at the back of, behind the car there. There's Mr. Chauhan, Balbir Singh Chauhan. He was a friend of mine. And I just dropped Prabhupada off at the front of the temple on Gerrard Street, or on Avenue Road. And this is Prabhupada's first entrance into the temple on Avenue Road, 243 Avenue Road. This is just when he arrived. What a memory. And go ahead, show these other pictures. Here is this beautiful picture of Srila Prabhupada sitting on the Vyasasan in Toronto, and there is the kurta that he's wearing that he gave to me when he was departing Toronto and heading for Buffalo, where I drove him. And I think I sent one more picture. Is there one more? Maybe that's it. Look at how beautiful he looks. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and the Sankirtan. Connection. The early days from Radha Damodar Temple, and then arriving in Toronto in 1976 to celebrate the acquisition of this prestigious building up from the Parliament buildings in Ontario. And it shows how much he did in such a short period of time to advance the Sankirtan movement globally. Very serious. And we should strive to take initiation from him through this process we're offering. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We're going to go forward with our next section, which is Prabhupada chanting. And myself and Yashoda have been at hundreds, maybe 150 classes where Prabhupada chanted this bhajan to open up the program for everyone that was attending. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Rochisha Devi Dasi, for being here. I'm not going to glorify her. She told me not to, but I'm going to at least acknowledge her eagerness to hear the philosophy of Srila Prabhupada through his ambassador, Yashodanandana Prabhu. On today's Saturday morning, Bhagavad Gita, as it is, class and a discussion. Haribol.
Sign. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava
सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद से अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गौ गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवद्वीप धाम की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय, गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. From Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. Narayanam namaskritya Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam, after offering respectful obeisances. 1. To the personality of Godhead, Narayana. 2. To the Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being. 3. To the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning. Then 4. To Srila Vyasadeva, the author. From Srimad Bhagavatam 1-4. Welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. As we do every week, we will be reading a few selected verses that were introduced directly by Srila Prabhupada himself in early 1966 when he started his preaching on Bhagavad Gita in New York. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasme Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who is established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and unto the feet of all Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami, along with his elder brother Sanatan Goswami, as well as Raghunath Das and Raghunath Bhatta, Gopala Bhatta, and Srila Jiva Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, along with Advaita, Ācārya, Gadada, Srivas, and other associates. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna, along with their associates Sri Lalita and Vishaka. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Oh, my dear Krishna, you are the friend of the distressed and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold, and who is the queen of Vrindavana. You are the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It should be noted that this particular class is being conducted on the basis of the original 1972 non-adulterated original Macmillan edition. All synonyms, translations, and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Ācārya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Krishna Consciousness Movement. Let us proceed with our verse for today. We are reading from chapter 14, text number 10. Rajastamascha vibhuya sattvam bhavati bharata rajaha sattvam tamascheva tamas sattvam rajastata rajaha mode of passion, tamaha mode of ignorance, cha also, abhibhuya also surpassing, sattvam mode of goodness, bhavati becomes prominent, bharata, O son of Bharata, rajaha mode of passion, sattvam mode of goodness, tamaha mode of ignorance, cha also, eva like that, tamaha mode of ignorance, sattvam mode of goodness, rajaha mode of passion, tatha as in this. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Sometimes the mode of passion becomes prominent, defeating the mode of goodness, O son of Bharata. And sometimes the mode of goodness defeats passion, and at other times the mode of ignorance defeats goodness and passion. And in this way, there is always competition for supremacy. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. When the mode of passion is prominent, the modes of goodness and ignorance are defeated. When the mode of goodness is prominent, passion and ignorance are defeated. And when the mode of ignorance is prominent, passion and goodness are defeated. This competition is always going on. Therefore, one who is actually intent on advancing in Krishna consciousness as to transcend these three modes, the prominence of some certain mode of nature is manifested in one's dealings, in his activities, in eating, etc. All this will be explained in later chapters. But if one wants, he can develop by practice the mode of goodness and thus defeat the modes of ignorance and passion. One can similarly develop the mode of passion and defeat goodness and ignorance. Or one can develop the mode of ignorance and defeat goodness and passion. Although there are these three modes of material nature, if one is determined, he can be blessed by the mode of goodness, and by transcending the mode of goodness, he can be situated in pure goodness, which is called the Vasudeva state, a state in which one can understand the science of God. By the manifestation of particular activities, it can be understood in what mode of nature one is situated. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakayam Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasme Shugurave Namaham Namaum Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine nirvishesha shunyavadi paschatya deshatarine bhakti siddhanta shishyaya bhakti vedanta namine prasannaya prashantaya tasmai shri gurave namah. Bhagavad Vandana Khadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Shiram Sharkara Yuktam Kadatehi Visheshatah Adadana Strinam Danteridam Yachi Punah Punah Srimaduru Papadam Bhojadulisyam Janma Janmani Amsho Bhagavatusmyaham Sadadaso asmi sarvata tat kripa pikshako nityam tat prishta sat karomisvam. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There's a very interesting story. Our Srila Prabhupada was in Los Angeles in the early 1970s, and a reporter asked him, Srila Prabhupada, Your Grace, what do you think of Los Angeles? And Prabhupada looked at the sky and said, I am not in Los Angeles, I am in Vaikuntha. The point being that pure devotee is always transcendental to the influence of the modes of nature. Now, this may be a little difficult to understand in our conditioned stage, because in the conditioned stage, we are often affected by the influence of the mode of passion and ignorance. Now, sometimes I hear devotees saying, well, so and such devotees are all conditioned souls. Well, that is not perfectly accurate. As soon as somebody starts the process of devotional service, he is on the path of becoming liberated. He may not be fully liberated in the beginning, but his success is assured if he follows the instruction of the actual liberated spiritual master. In the second canto of the Bhagavatam, Prabhupada mentions that even a neophyte devotee is imperceptibly liberated. Prabhupada used that word, imperceptibly. Now, this is very important because, as we know, the process of devotional service is a gradual process. Now, there's some immediate effects to chanting Hare Krishna. Prabhupada mentioned that several times. Just yesterday, I had the good fortune of receiving a note from a devotee where Prabhupada was explaining that as soon as you chant Hare Krishna, you become purified of the karma accumulated for millions of years. And there's another verse in the Vishnu Purana, Namno hi yavati shaktihi papa nirharare harehe tavat kartum nashaknoti patakam pataki naraha. What this means, a person cannot commit enough sinful activities in millions of lifetimes that one name of Krishna or Vishnu can clear. In other words, there's an immediate effect to chanting the name of Krishna. Like somebody asked me recently, well, why don't you just chant once? Yeah, you can if you chant purely. But on account of conditioning for millions of lifetimes, there is a process. There is a systematic bhakti process that has been introduced and explained by great Ācārya, such as Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami. Oh, thank you. Okay, here we go. In this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes the following verses from the Smriti Shastra. Namno hi yavati shaktihi papa niharane hare tavat kartum nashaknoti patakam pataki naraha. Simply by chanting one holy name of Hari, a sinful man can counteract the reactions to more sins than he is able to commit. From the Brihad Vishnu Purana, another verse from the Garuda Purana. Aveshenapi yam namni kirtite sarvapatakai, puman vimuchyate sadhya, simharatrashter mrigeriva. If one chants the holy name of the Lord, even in a helpless condition, or without desiring to do so, all the reactions of his sinful active life depart. Just as when a lion roars, all the small animals flee in fear. From the Garuda Purana, another excellent one from the Vishnu Skanda Purana. Sakridu charitam yena aririti aksharadvayam baddha parikarastena mokshaya gamanam prati. By once chanting the holy name of the Lord, which consists of the two syllables Hari, one guarantees his path to liberation. Skanda Purana. These are some of the reasons why the Vishnu Dutas objected to the Yamadutas taking Ajamil to the court of Yamaraj. This is a purport, excerpt from a purport by Srila Prabhupada on Srimad Bhagavatam in the 6th canto, chapter 2, text number 7. The point being is that there's great power in the name of Krishna. As Vishwakarma Prabhu made in his initial presentation, that he was listening to or reading a statement from Srila Prabhupada that the name of Krishna is non-different from the person Krishna. This is often quoted by Srila Prabhupada from the Padma Purana. Abhinnatvam nama naminaha. Nama means the name. Nami is the person Krishna. Abhinnam, and there is no difference. Krishna is directly present in his name. Unfortunately, we have seen by practical experience in South India, especially, and in Bengal, there's a class of impersonalists. They do not accept these statements of Shastras. They think that these are artavad. In Sanskrit, artavad means exaggeration. It is not exaggeration. It is fact. I often see on some postings by some Indian people, they call it Hindu mythology. I said, no. It is not mythology. It is factology. Krishna was present historically in Mathura 5,000 years ago. Krishna was present on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. There is a direct historical personality, Krishna. And the teachings of Krishna, as explained by the bona fide realized Ācārya, explain to us how to transcend the modes of material nature. Although one is purified immediately because of conditioning for millions of lifetimes, one is still attached to the activities of the material world, overwhelmed by the influence of the modes of nature. Therefore, there is a systematic process of bhakti, ado shraddha, tata sadhu sango, ta bhajana kriya. There's a process of systematic purification. And that is why Prabhupada started this process, because somebody may argue, well, it says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a quote by Rupa Goswami in the Padyavali, Nadikshtam na Purashcharyam, that the chanting of the name of Krishna does not depend upon initiation or the preparatory activities before initiation. One can chant anywhere. That is true. No one can deny that. That is the power of the name of Krishna. That is why we receive the name of Krishna from the pure devotee, the Shuddha Bhakta, the perfectly realized soul. I want to quote a section from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 20, Text 25. This is a very interesting verse and a purport. Sauttamaślokamahan mukachyutu Bhavat padam bhuja sudha kananilaha smritir punar vismrita tattva vartmanam kuyoginam novitaratyam varai. My dear Lord, you are glorified by the selected verses uttered, by great personalities. Such glorification of your lotus feet is just like saffron particles. When the transcendental vibration from the mouths of great devotees carries the aroma of the saffron dust of your lotus feet, The forgetful living entity gradually remembers his eternal relationship with you. Devotees thus gradually come to the right conclusion about the value of life. My dear Lord, I therefore do not need any other benediction but the opportunity to hear from the mouth of your pure devotees. Purport by his divine grace. It is explained in the previous verse that one has to hear glorification of the Lord from the mouth of a pure devotee. This is further explained here. The transcendental vibration from the mouth of a pure devotee is so powerful that it can revive the living entity's memory of his eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In our material existence, under the influence of illusory Maya, we have almost forgotten our eternal relationship with the Lord, exactly like a man sleeping very deeply who forgets his duties. In the Vedas, it is said that every one of us is sleeping under the influence of Maya. We must get up from this slumber and engage in the right service, for thus we can properly utilize the facility of this human form of life. As expressed in a song by Thakur Bhaktivinoda, Lord Chaitanya says, Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago. The Lord asked every sleeping living entity to get up and engage in devotional service so that his mission in this human form of life may be fulfilled. This awakening voice comes through the mouth of a pure devotee. A pure devotee always engages in the service of the Lord, taking shelter of his lotus feet, and therefore he has a direct connection with these saffron mercy particles that are strewn over the lotus feet of the Lord. Although when a pure devotee speaks, the articulation of his voice may resemble the sound of this material sky, the voice is spiritually very powerful because it touches the particles of saffron dust on the lotus feet of the Lord. As soon as a sleeping living entity hears the powerful voice emanating from the mouth of a pure devotee, he immediately remembers his eternal relationship with the Lord, although up until that moment he had forgotten everything. The point being is that hearing from Srila Prabhupada is very, very powerful. And we encourage here at Prabhupada Disciples Association, HKS, we encourage everybody to listen attentively to the lectures of Srila Prabhupada, very carefully read his books. There is no difference between hearing the Maha Mantra from Srila Prabhupada, hearing from his books, and getting the direct association of the pure devotee. You know, we have all heard before that Prabhupada gave a lecture on the nectar of devotion in Vrindavan in late October and November of 1972 at the Radha Damodar temple. In one of these lectures, Prabhupada says, when you are reading the nectar of devotion of Rupa Goswami, you are directly associating with Rupa Goswami, unquote. There's no difference when you hear the original books of Prabhupada. I hope you can get the non-adulterated books. You are directly association with Prabhupada. So those people that misinterpret Prabhupada's words, that you have to hear from a living guru, yeah, you go hear from whatever living guru you want. But the ultimate guru is Srila Prabhupada. He's the one that is giving the perfect, complete, non-adulterated Divyam Jnanam, which is the essence of all initiation. Thank you very much. Back to you in the studio. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Very enlightening. References to Prabhupada's teachings so that we can get a proper understanding of how to perform devotional service without any confusion. And this kind of situation is present nowadays in the Kali Yuga. And I want to invite everyone to please refer to our channel, Hare Krishna Society YouTube page, where I believe we have over 700 hours of broadcast focusing on these principles of Guru Tattva, association with the pure devotee in sound, because this is a yoga process based on hearing and chanting. The two most important things: hear and repeat, and chant the holy name, because the name of Krishna and the form of Krishna are non-different. That's a simple principle and to understand. And when you do that and you associate with Krishna, you fill up your bank account. Prabhupada used the example of a Krishna conscious bank account. You fill your bank account with this blessing from Srila Prabhupada, and it's very important for us to understand via media of the form, the spiritual master, everything he says is Shastra. It's not just he's talking. These fake gurus, they just talk. It's on the mental platform. And they repeat philosophy to attract people to serve them, to help them build their bank accounts, to help them build their numbers, help them build their apartments. And in this way, they use Krishna as a business, and this is not good. So one other point I wanted to mention was Prabhupada called our movement the kitchen religion. So taking prasadam is part of our preaching work. Not only taking prasadam for ourselves, but distributing it to others. So this is something you can do at where you are. We're going to move to our next section, which is called Our Living Guru. And it's essays which explain about the importance of hearing from a bona fide source, not some bogus source. We're going to move to that right now. Go ahead, Yashodanandana Prabhu.
Thank you very much. We are reading from Our Living Guru, which was compiled in 1993 in Badger, California, section number 6.4. If the new guru changes, why is it that only his initiations are redone? Why are the marriages, deity installations, or other priestly functions he performed not performed again? Answer: we have asked some senior devotees' opinion on this point, and many conclude that remarrying someone or reinstalling a deity has no control or financial value. But reinitiating the follower is of interest because it provides a position for power and glory. In other words, in all other areas of management, they will argue what is done is done. But in the area of having control of the 100% surrendered soul, there is enormous, even fanatical interest in elaborate meetings and discussions. Or as some devotees say of the new gurus, they are into collecting bodies and bucks. As of completing this paper, we discovered that some gurus in ISKCON have forced through a resolution even Prabhupada's original disciples may need a sannyas reinitiation, a new spiritual name. There is no evidence from Prabhupada's books to support this new concoction. Moreover, when a Gaudiya Math guru reinitiated some of Prabhupada's sannyasis and gave them new name, he was branded as unauthorized, a demon, and so on. Next page. 6.5. Question: we sometimes find that a so-called disciple of a new guru goes on to advance very solidly, while his so-called guru falls down into all forms of sense gratification. Did Srila Prabhupada notice this tendency amongst the leaders? Answer: Srila Prabhupada. Regarding your question, you say that amongst the elder disciples, there are still symptoms of greed, anger, strife, bickering, etc. But you are one of them. You are one of the old students, so you fall into that group. So the fighting is among that group, but not amongst the real workers. Letters from Srila Prabhupada, September 9, 1972. Anyone who sincerely served the spiritual master, namely Srila Prabhupada, is a real worker. He can advance way beyond a so-called new guru, and indeed, we are seeing this practically every day. 6.6. Why is it that members of the Living Guru Project are always disagreeing with their former statements, changing their ideas, and arguing over their own translations, if not sometimes even shouting obscenities at each other and so on? Answer, Srila Prabhupada. It is a defect of Mayavad commentaries that they make one statement in one place and a contradictory statement in another place as a tactic to refute the Bhagavata school. Thus, Mayavadi philosophers do not even follow the regulative principles from Adi Lila, chapter 5, text 41. Back to you in the studio. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, it's very important, everyone, to be able to discriminate between what is real and what is misinformation or propaganda. And we live in a propaganda world, especially social media. Nobody knows what the truth is. No one knows what the reality is because it's all misinformation. And this has happened in the spiritual line by fake gurus who pretend, posture, and pose to be on the transcendental platform when they're actually mundaners. The International Society for Opinions, mental speculation. And this will mislead people. Asurya nama te loka. People that do this, they're doomed along with their disciples. That's for sure. So people should be aware of that. We're going to go ahead with our next section, Yashodanandana Prabhu, which is another lecture by Srila Prabhupada. So everyone, tune in, listen carefully, and we'll go with that. Haribo.
Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam.
So, our present situation is that the whole civilization is going on under the wrong impression that everyone is the body. That is not a fact. Therefore, this Krishna Kirtan, this Hare Krishna movement, it has got a special effect. It is, don't think this Hare Krishna movement is ordinary sound vibration. It is spiritual vibration. It is called Mahamantra. Mahamantra. Just like, I do not know in your country whether the snake chanters in India, still there are many snake chanters, enchanters, I'm sorry. So, they chant some mantra, and a man, a snake bitten, can be revived to his consciousness. Anyone, Indians present here, they know. Still, especially I've seen in Punjab, there are many snake enchanters who know how to chant the mantra. See, if it is physically possible that a dead man, of course, when a man is bitten by a snake, he is not dead. He becomes unconscious. He is not dead. But by this chanting a mantra, he comes to his consciousness. Therefore, it is the system in India. If a man is bitten by a snake, he is not burnt or he is not taken as dead body. He is floated in some light boat and given to the water. If he gets chance, he may come out again to consciousness. So similarly, we are at the present moment, due to our ignorance, we are sleeping. We are sleeping. Therefore, to awaken us, this mantra, Maha Mantra is required. To Cheta Darpana Marjana, just like these boys, these European boys and girls who are along with me, I have got more than 3,000-4,000 disciples like that. They are chanting Hare Krishna, and not that whimsically they are chanting. They are fully convinced. If you talk with them, they talk very nicely on philosophy, everything, as a sane man. So how they are doing? 4 years ago, they did not know what is the name of Krishna. Perhaps they might have seen in the English dictionary the name of Krishna as set as a Hindu god. But actually that is not the fact. Krishna is the name of God. Krishna means they all attract, all good. All attractive means he must be good, otherwise how he can be attracted? A bad, someone who is bad, he cannot be attracted. Therefore Krishna, this very word means all attract. He has got all the good qualities, all the opulences, so that he is attracted. That is the right description of a right nomenclature of God. If God has got any name particular which is full in everything, that word is Krishna. It is a Sanskrit word, but it indicates Krishna means God. In the Shastra it is said, Ishara Parama Krishna. Ishara means controller, and Parama the supreme. Ishara Parama Krishna. That is the instruction of Vedic literature. So, this Krishna consciousness movement is not a sectarian, a religious movement. It is a scientific, philosophical movement. Try to understand. But the process is very simple. The process is by chanting this Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So, we are not magicians, but we ask our students simply to chant this transcendental vibration, and he becomes gradually cleansed of all dirty things within the heart. This is our process. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has explained, he has given us the instruction, Cheta Darpana Marjanam. Our whole travel in this material world is due to misunderstanding. The first misunderstanding is that I am this body. And actually every one of us, we are standing on this platform, the bodily concept of life. And because the basic standing, foundation is mistaken, therefore whatever we are creating, whatever we are understanding, they are all mistakes. Because the basic platform is mistake. But first of all we have to drive away this mistaken idea that I am this body. That is called Cheta Darpana Marjanam, cleansing the heart. I am thinking I am this body, but actually I am not this. So we have to cleanse these misconceptions, and that is very easily done by simply chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It is practical. So our request is that every one of you, if you kindly take our instruction to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you are not losing anything, but the gain is very much. We are not charging you anything. Just like others, if we give some mantra, they will charge. But we are freely distributing. Everyone can take. Even the children, they can take. There are many children in our society. They chant and dance. It does not require any education. It does not require any pride. Simply, if you chant, why do not make an experiment and see by chanting? That is our request. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. One may object, why shall I chant your Hindu Krishna's name? So, we don't say that Krishna or God has got many names that he has made. It is not. God is unlimited. Therefore, he must have unlimited names. But this Krishna word is very perfect because it means all accept. You can describe God is great. That's all right. How is great? That is another understanding. So, if you think that Krishna is the name of Hindu God, why shall I chant this? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no. If you have got a name, another alternative name of God, then you chant. Our only request is that you chant the holy name of God. If you have got any name for God, you can chant. You will be purified. That is our propaganda.
So today's program has been focused on chanting Hare Krishna as a method for elevating consciousness to the transcendental platform of life. This is a key part of our philosophy, and therefore we always stress this point, Michael Dillon, I see your hands up, that you chant 16 rounds a day, no matter what you have to do during the day, no matter what duty or responsibility you have to earn money, let's say. You've got to make money, so you have to go to work. Yashoda sometimes tells the story of him working as a paralegal in Toronto, and he would have to travel in the car. And so when he would travel in the car, because there was limited time, he would chant, just concentrate on the road and chant the holy name. And in this way, use your time to take care of the discipline of chanting 16 rounds. So you have to make adjustments, you have to make arrangements in your life to do this basic requirement. But the first thing that we should do is figure out how we're going to spend 2 hours a day chanting the holy name. And that's the beginning. Prabhupada would sometimes say that. My disciples, they're not chanting their rounds, and they're not reading my books. Well, what is Bhakti Yoga if you don't hear and chant? It doesn't exist. You're just faking it. You're pretending, posturing, and posing. And this is not the method of discipline that Prabhupada taught us and that we are all following in the Hare Krishna Society Prabhupada Disciples Association. Correct, Rupa Goswami? Yes, it is correct. And we want to thank Rupa Goswami for his participation in our service of presenting these classes for everyone's benefit on a weekly basis. And we have a rule, not only for chanting, but if you want to get initiation, you have to come to the classes. We require that. Not because we're the only class, but if you want to be a part of this group, naturally you have to be a part of the programs. Simple logic. Because then we are explaining it in such a way that you will understand that Prabhupada is still living in sound, that Prabhupada is still directing us by his transcendental potency, and it's present in his instructions. So thank you, everyone. We're going to go to the next section. Rupa Goswami, I believe we're doing the 10 offenses. Is that correct?
Yes, 10 offenses.
Thank you. Please show that.
Nectar of Devotion, Chapter 8, Offenses to be Avoided. The offenses against the chanting of the holy name are as follows. First, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Second, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. Sometimes the atheistic class of men take it that any demigod is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. But one who is a devotee knows that no demigod, however great he may be, is independently as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, if someone thinks that he can chant Kali, Kali or Durga, Durga, and it is the same as Hare Krishna, that is the greatest offense. Third, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Fourth, to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. Fifth, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. Sixth, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. Seventh, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. Because by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can be freed from all kinds of sinful reactions. It should not be taken that one may continue to act sinfully and after that chant Hare Krishna to neutralize his sins. Such a dangerous mentality is very offensive and should be avoided. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities. Karma Kanda. 9th. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Anyone can take part in chanting the holy name of the Lord, but in the beginning one should not be instructed about the transcendental potency of the Lord. Those who are too sinful cannot appreciate the transcendental glories of the Lord, and therefore it is better not to instruct them in this matter. 10th. To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names, and to maintain material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success.
Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. So there are rules and regulations when you practice any discipline. So discipline is the key of success. We're going to go ahead with our next section, Yashodanandana Prabhu, which is a new section for us, which is the chanting of japa with our group. If you want to play the piano or do something else, that's okay, but turn your microphone off and carry on with that. In the meantime, we'll move ahead with the chanting of one round as our group participation continues.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri
Srivasadi
Advaita
Gaur
Gadadhar
Bhakta
Shri Gaura
Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram
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 Hare
Ram
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare
Ram
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 Hare
Ram
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 Hare
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 Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Krishna Hare
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 Hare Ram
Hare
Hare Ram
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 Hare
Ram
Ram
Hare Hare
Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare Krishna
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 Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare Ram
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Hare
Hare Hare
Ram Hare
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hare Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Rama,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare Ram
Hare
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 Ram Ram Ram
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram
Ram Ram
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare Ram
Hare
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 Ram 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 Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare Ram
Krishna
Hare Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare Hare
Hare Hare
Hare Ram Hare Ram
Krishna Hare
Ram
Krishna Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
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 Hare Hare
Hare
Ram Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram
Hare
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 Ram Ram
Hare
Ram Hare
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna
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 Hare Krishna
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 Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram Ram
Ram
Ram
Ram
Hare Hare
Ram Hare Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
I think we have a question, Rupa Goswami, for Yashodanandana Prabhu. Let's move to that section for a minute. Rupa, could you read the question, please?
Okay, so Shrestha Rupa Mataji is asking, okay, we are not the body, so when people associate to their mind and ego, how can one be helped to identify and unidentify themselves and re-identify as spirit soul? What does one understand by being spirit soul? What does then that really mean in reality, in practical life?
There's an interesting story in this connection when Brahmananda Swami went to Srila Prabhupada and asked him, Prabhupada, it seems to be very difficult to be humble. How can we do that? And Prabhupada said, it's very easy. Just understand what you really are. What you really are is 1/10,000 the tip of a hair. That is the size of the spirit soul. So in other words, in order to understand we're not the body, there is an intellectual component that one can understand. This case is given in the Bhagavad Gita in so many places, specifically in chapter 2, text 13, Dehinosmin yata dehe. But the process of chanting will help to clear out what's called upadis, or false designations. And this is a very important point, the chanting, because Prabhupada often would quote a verse from the Narada Pancharatra, Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktiruchyate. That one engages the senses in the service of the master of the senses, and one clears out sarva upadi vinirmuktam, to become completely free from all false artificial designations in this material world. This is the process of bhakti. So by engaging in bhakti according to the instruction of the spiritual master in chanting Hare Krishna, then one can help to understand that one is spirit soul. Aham Brahmasmi, that's the meaning. Hare Krishna.
Haribol, glories to Srila Prabhupada. We're going to move forward with the prayers to the Vaishnavas. Go ahead, Rupa. Put it on the screen. Yashoda can speak it.
Vanchakalpa tarobhyascha kripa sindobhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Thanks everyone for participating in this lively reading and discussion. Thanks Vishwakarma Prabhu in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. We've had Rupa Goswami Prabhu in Mumbai, and we have Shrestha Rupa Mataji in South India. We have so many devotees who have participated in various ways. Ruchisa Mataji de la Belle, province de Quebec. Chaitanya Nrsimha Prabhu in the Eastern USA. Virabhadra Goswami in South India. Anshuman Mishra Prabhu in Orissa. Radharani in Kansas. Michael Dillon in Yuba City, California. Bhakta Roy in Mississippi. Nandi Mukhi, Vladimir Martinov in Poland, Narasimha Prabhu either in Hawaii or North India. As a matter of fact, we just posted an article on the website, on the Facebook, on our favorites page, an article that was written by Narasimha Prabhu. We recommend everybody to read it. Bhakta Vaibhav Prabhu in India, and numerous other devotees. Bhakta Ram Singh in Oroville, California, Christina Gemburger and her husband in Latvia, Viprahita Prabhu, the father of Ram Raghava in Georgia, Bhaktin Sushma Bhakta Vijay Prabhu in Eastern USA, Kanta Prabhu in Trinidad, and everybody participating. Thank you so much for participating. Please join us again tomorrow morning for a class on Srimad Bhagavatam at 7 o'clock a.m., corresponding to 10 a.m. Eastern Time and other places around the world. And we appreciate your participation, and please join us again. Hare Krishna, back to you in the studio.
I wanted to comment, by the way, Prabhu, that that article that I reposted for Nashringa on PDA, Prabhupada Disciples Association Facebook page. And by the way, you can direct people to join us there. We have over 23,100 members right now. We're going for 30,000. So please recommend that. But on this post, I believe we have 1,200 views of that article now. So it's been well received in that community. And we want to thank him for writing such a very introspective, deep understanding of Guru Tattva. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We're going to move forward with the closing remarks. So I know Bhakti Kevin, he loves the chanting with the Western music. So we'll play that, and then there's some other things that we'll be showing after this for your information and transcendental pleasure. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'm listening. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey! Play that bass, chant and peace. Don't be shy, chant along, chant along. Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Bo, Hare Hare Bo, Hare Bo, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Bo, Hare Bo, Hare Bo, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Hare Bo, Hare Hare Bo, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Kirtana Ganana Ganapatau.
My first impression of Prabhupada, because I had read his books, and as opposed to all of the other Bhagavad Gitas that I had read from all these yogis and swamis, Prabhupada was very clear, very precise in the way he explained about Krishna, God, the personality of Godhead, the nature of the soul. It was very convincing, because I had read various versions of Bhagavad Gita. Even I read the entire Rig Veda in French by some Sanskrit scholars. But it was not appealing. It was not convincing. But Prabhupada's teaching, Prabhupada's book was so potent. Prabhupada's words in his book really touched the soul. So when I first saw Srila Prabhupada in New York, it was like, it was almost incredible to link this person in his presence. His real spiritual potency was there, and I had read these teachings, and I saw him. It was like, Prabhupada, the attraction he had was like a magnet. He was able to really channel the slightest spark of sincerity and bring it to Krishna. I remember especially one lecture when he first introduced the Namaste Narasimha prayers, because in those days Prabhupada said he introduced these prayers to protect his movement. So he introduced these prayers, and some Indian lady in the crowd started to sing Om Jaya Jagadisha Hari, because at the end there's Jaya Jagadisha Hari, and she says Om Jaya Jagadisha. And Prabhupada interrupted the whole prayer and says, who has said this? He says, no, not Om Jaya Jagadisha. He says, Jaya Jagadisha Hari. Don't concoct. And Prabhupada was very specific about that, because it's in reference to some Artik prayers which various Hindus sing, which they have this Om Jaya Jagadisha Hari. So Prabhupada stopped that. And he chanted the Sanskrit, the Namaste Narasimha prayer in a very, very grave tone, repeating each and every word. So it was a very, very ecstatic experience to see and hear Srila Prabhupada introducing this new prayer and him showing the devotees how to sing it and really bringing about this very potent transcendental prayer to protect his movement. Then Prabhupada flew. I had requested that Madhavisa Maharaj, Madhavisa Prabhu, who was soon to become Maharaj, should come to Los Angeles and take sannyas. So when Madhavisa took sannyas, it was a very interesting incident, which was really the first time that I had experienced something very unique. I mean, every experience with Srila Prabhupada was unique. But this time, Prabhupada did the entire sannyas initiation ceremony and gave him the name and gave a sannyas lecture. And afterwards, there was a very nice kirtan. So Karandar was there, Keshava, Karandar's brother, and Madhukanta was there, and so many devotees were there. And Prabhupada came out of his Vyasasana, and he came in the crowd. So in those days, we used to have 2 rows. This was in the room where currently the Fate exhibit is. And Srila Prabhupada came and started to dance, So the kirtan just increased more and more and more. So after a while, as we know, those kirtans used to go often out of control. So I know, because in those days I used to be able to jump fairly high, at least 40 to 45 inches off the floor. I used to be able, some way or other, by Krishna's mercy. And at one point, I looked at Prabhupada, and he was higher than me. And I realized, what is this? I couldn't understand. I mean, of course, Prabhupada is a pure devotee. Krishna can lift him up all the way to Goloka Vrindavan. And here I was a young buck, jumping up almost 45 inches off the floor. And I'm looking at this, and it didn't dawn on me until later that this was almost like an exhibition of transcendental mystic power. That Prabhupada was almost like, literally, 60 inches off the floor. And Madhavisa Maharaj was just on the other side of Prabhupada. And I remember looking at him like bewildered. Well, how is this person jumping and dancing so high? But this was just, this was just the transcendental mercy of Prabhupada exhibiting these pastimes of just transcendental ecstasy like that. So this was a very, very sweet, moment with Prabhupada like that. Of course, to those who are non-devotees, it would be a little difficult to understand, but it was just a very, very kind manifestation of Prabhupada. It is one of these siddhis or perfections, the Lagima siddhi, are to be lighter than anything. So Prabhupada could exhibit that transcendental potency like that.